Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Caesar speaking. I hope you're all doing well. I've got my glasses here just in case I need them, but I should be okay. Welcome to today's, I don't want to call it episode, but chat. I don't really call it chit chat anymore because I feel like it's actually a topic. So welcome to today's topic. Today is about dating. Yes, we are going there, to the dating side. Yes, experiences of dating, just a snippets of the little that I did have, and what I would advise and encourage for young women out there that are dating in this current market, or in the current pool. So yeah, I want to get straight on. If you're not subscribed, please do subscribe. Let me know if you like these topics. If you have anything else of interest, let me know. My husband, I just seen a message from my husband. Sweet, we always do a morning text to each other. So since we've been dating, that was like a I would say non-negotiable, but it was always something that I wanted to have, and it was part of my love language, so he's always kept it up, bless him. But I'll read that later. I've got it on my phone today. I'll make this one quick so that my camera doesn't die on me and do some weird things because it's so annoying right now. But yes, in today's society, dating is very hard, and I think more now more than ever, maybe more now because people have the options, or have there is more to choose from with all the dating apps in all essence. Back in the day, you didn't really have the apps and stuff. You kind of met people in person or through a friend or in passing, where that's kind of rare now. I definitely had the vision of finding my husband at uni. I was like, I want to find him in person, I don't want to do these apps. But the reality is, most of the time people are just going to find the significant other on apps, and I ended up finding my husband on an app, which is a funny story in itself, to be fair, but you know, I do believe it was meant to be how it happened. The thing is, with today's society, I really do believe that many people are dating for the wrong reasons. So then it makes it more difficult for the people that have the genuine reasons of wanting to date. So some people want to date for marriage, some are just dating for, you know, fun. Some people just whiling away time, let's be honest. Some people are just bored. Excuse me, which I definitely don't think it's fair if you are dating for that reason, just from an emotional side and a human side, especially if someone else isn't doing the same. But I'll probably start getting onto that point later on because it's one of my points. I think people nowadays are not really dating for a purpose, like I was saying, but this is why I think the first reason is more important. You have to be transparent when you are dating, for why you are dating. So whether you're dating for marriage, what the reason that's for marriage, for fun, because you're bored, you have to be transparent with the person. I'm sure you're not going to tell the other person that you're bored, I guess, but I guess, you know, you can just be like, I'm not looking for something serious. So definitely I think transparency is the first thing you have to do. So for me, my first instinct, I already knew that when I went to the dating pool, I was looking for someone that was going to be my future husband. So I never really wanted to kind of date. I just know how I am. I'm very much like I connect with people. So for me, I find it very hard to connect with someone and then be like, oh, you know, I don't like you anymore, kind of thing. Obviously it does happen, I'm not saying it doesn't, but at the same time, I think for me it was like going in with this with like the attitude of I'm going to take it seriously. I do want to kind of pursue something that is more than just kind of like, oh, well, we're dating. Even though obviously I enjoyed the process, I saw how it went during the dating process itself, but I did have fun, but I did also have that in the back of my head, like, you know, I'm getting to know this person, but my intentions are this. And I made that clear to whoever I was dating, my now husband, that I did want to pursue marriage as the reason for dating. The main reason for me, I just never wanted to hurt anyone in the process. Obviously when dating you will get hurt, people will get hurt, but if I could help that in the case of like not just dating for the sake of it, especially when I wasn't ready or my heart wasn't ready. It just reduced those chances. So if I was ready and it did happen and somehow my heart got broken or their heart got broken, at least I knew that I was in a good place, and in a way I had the intentions were good when I was dating. So that's the first one. I'd say make sure you know why you're dating. What's your reason for dating? Whatever reason that is, it's better for you to know and be transparent with the person as well. So 2, take your time during the dating process. Don't rush. I think I always say this, don't rush, because I said this also for my 20 things things I'd say to my 20-year-old self. Don't rush, because I feel like maybe it's just a constant thing, that's a theme in my life of rushing. Maybe that's why I keep saying that, but don't rush the process, because I think for a few months I was so apprehensive. I was kind of like, oh, I hope he likes me. Okay, I don't think we should try and rush that process. Definitely allow time, allow it to just, you know, meld. And I do understand, like, you do want to have a point where you're like, okay, what are we, because you don't want to be really strung along. But I think also don't allow yourself to not enjoy the current moment because you're too busy trying to be like count the months, which I feel like sometimes I had the tendency of doing, being like, oh, I hope he likes me, and I hope, you know, we're not dating for all these months, and it ends up being nothing, because, you know, us women are meant to, you put your heart into something and it's painful for it to then be like, oh yeah, I don't feel that way. So yeah, definitely that. So don't rush the process, and just enjoy it as well. Enjoy the dating bit. I think just getting to know someone. For us, my first date, we went on a coffee date, and I'm fine with that. Like, I know some people want like a beautiful meal, and I used to be one of them girls, because I used to see it on TV and be like, yeah, you take like a 4-star restaurant. I'm being exaggerative, but a restaurant. A restaurant, and you know, it has to be great, and it has to wear a beautiful dress, and then, you know, when I met my husband, he was like, do you want to go for a coffee? Like, he asked me on a date 3 days after talking to me, and I was like, yep, okay. And in my mind at the time, I was like, I had nothing to lose, because if anything, you know, he can become a friend. If not, it is what it is. But coffee date was great. Like, it was relaxed. We could just be, I could be ourselves. We didn't have to have the pressure of like, oh, you have to eat properly, because obviously there's people that are fine with that, and I probably would have been fine with a, you know, a lovely meal at a restaurant as well. This buttons don't pop. Sorry. Yeah, currently on that girly time, so they are a bit more fuller. But yeah, so for me, it was kind of like, if I had the restaurant, it would have been lovely, but then also just as good was a coffee date and a little quaint, like, independent coffee shop, which I was kind of like, yes, I like that. And we had a great time. I didn't feel too stressed about the situation, because it was in a comfortable. Yes, definitely don't feel too pressured about going to fancy places, especially when you're young. You know, like a coffee date, I think is quite good. Like, really, like a nice, so much to eat. But I think coffee is great because, one, you don't have the pressure of having to be like, oh, I don't want to, you know, what's your order and all that. But at the same time, I think when you are younger, for me, when I was younger, that age, I think it was good just to have a quick coffee date. So that's a tip from me. You can't beat a nice independent coffee shop. Lovely scenery, just relaxed. It's a good idea. Be honest with yourself and the person. In regards to this, I mean, you have to get to know each other and be honest with the person and yourself. So be transparent about what you want, what you're looking for. I guess it comes to the first point, it just elaborates a bit more, but be honest with what you want from the beginning and from the get-go, because I think we fall short a lot when we're dating, because we think, oh, let me hide all this stuff and I can tell him later. But because when you tell him later, you're now invested in that person, you like them a lot, and then for you to now be like, oh, by the way, I don't like this thing that you do that I've hated from the beginning, it's kind of like, well, you're now scared to tell them because you're like, oh, I don't want to lose them, and you have that kind of fear. And for me, that wasn't kind of a trap for me, because I was on the go. I was like, I'm looking to get married, I want 2 kids, I literally, because at the beginning, even though it feels scary, you have nothing really invested. If you think about it, you've talked a bit, well, for me anyway, we'd only talked like excuse me, we'd only talked like 3 nights in a night. So the first night he talked to me, he asked me on a date, and then 3 days later we had the date. And I think in between that I didn't even really message him. I kind of said hi, but he already told me that he was the kind of person that prefers face-to-face rather than texting, so I understood that. But then at the same time, so for me, even after like the second, third day, I was already like, yeah, I'm looking for this, I am looking to marry. Basically I was just honest, and when my culture, I told him how my culture works. If you have cultural differences, definitely be transparent at the beginning stage, even though it feels scary and you think, oh, they'll go. If they go, they were never meant for you. I definitely believe in that. And if they stay and you've told them the truth, then it's great, then it shows the character of the person. But if you wait and wait and wait, I used to have a manager, and she said the same thing once. She was like, oh, you know, I'm scared to ask him if they wanted to like buy the house together, because it'd be cheaper. And I thought to myself, you have to be very honest in the beginning stages of what you want, but then also I feel like she needed to be honest and be like, I want a house. If you want to get this house together, that's great. If not, then, you know, I still understand. And I don't think she would have really, obviously she would have lost out in the sense of like, it's easier if she gets a house with her and the partner. But my point is, being transparent and honest is very important in any relationship, but I definitely think very much so in the beginning stages, because you have less to lose, because especially if you're just talking, especially if you're talking, you can just plop things in. You can be like, oh really, that's funny, like I have 5 siblings, I'd love to have 3, you know, I'd love to have a big family because I've grown up with like 5, 6 siblings, like things like that. You can just add into conversation that, and it's not in an awkward way. And I think sometimes people think, oh, I have to bring up the whole topic, where sometimes you just need a little snippet of something to just add it in there, and not in like a add it in quick dip it, but be like add it in to then continue the conversation. Definitely think that that's the main thing for me. Like, yeah, I would be transparent definitely in the beginning stages, because you have less invested and it is less scary. Even though it does feel scary, it's less scary than when you are with your partner. That's for me is definitely make sure you're honest from as early as you can be, not making it awkward. Obviously I'm not saying be like talking about babies on the 3rd date, but obviously if you're talking in conversation, but for me, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not ashamed. I wasn't really ashamed in the dating scene, because I was kind of like, well, I feel like if you are dating for someone that's a husband, I don't think it's the worst question you can ask, unless that person is one that's not really sure. Then I think that's what makes it a bit awkward for some people, or if they don't know. But I feel like if you know, it's not the worst conversation you can have. It's only if you're not on the same page, and that's fine. If you're not on the same page, then that person's just not for you. And I don't think you should be ashamed of having something that you want to just be honest with, something that you want to make sure that you're transparent about. So then later on that person can't come back and be like, well, you never told me that you know, wanted. Yeah, for me, it's just definitely be honest with each other. Basically say the non-negotiables that you can't ever change, whether that's your faith, religion, spirituality, politics, children. If someone says they don't know about wanting kids, that is fine. But if you want them, you have to then understand that person. If they then come back and say, well, I didn't know, but now I know that I don't want the kids, then you need to know that you allowed yourself to that space, if you get what I mean. I think definitely it is easier to have someone where you share the same values in that, and morals, and I definitely think those things you should voice, especially if you are looking for something serious anyway. Like, don't allow yourself. 5, and the last one, and we'll stop talking because that can talk forever. Don't lose yourself within the relationship, because I think too many times you still need to have your independence even as a couple. So make sure that you don't lose your independence even though you are like dating someone, because it's so easy. Like, you think, oh no, what happened, and then you just fall into it sometimes. So I definitely think, yeah, don't lose yourself. Make sure you still maintain your friendships, your family, be true to you, because your partner, like I said, should add to you and not take away. And if a partner that's there that can see that and be like, you know what, go out with your friends and treat yourself. So don't lose yourself, be true to you. The most important person at the end of the day is you, and then your partner obviously adds to that as well, so then you just become a great couple together. So don't lose yourself. That's what I want to say, especially when you're a young person as well. It is easier, I think, but then also I think if you haven't realized it, definitely just evaluate sometimes. Be like, oh, have I seen my friends? Excuse me, sorry guys, this cough is so annoying. But yeah, definitely not lose yourself. So those are my points basically, just to finish off the video. I hope they've been helpful to someone, a young person. I definitely say to myself, my big sister said this to me and it stuck with me. She was like, because I was going to uni at the time, she was like, uni is stressful enough, you don't need a boy to add to your stress. And I'm very glad she gave me that advice, because I did excuse me, I didn't date in uni. And yeah, when I was in uni, I was struggling, and I saw some people who had boyfriends. Obviously some could manage, who were fine. I'm just not that type of person. I was just like, if I'm focused on something, I need to focus on that one thing. And I'd see some girls that would be crying over their boyfriends with situations happening, arguing, and I'd be like, yeah, I can't do that. Like, for me, I'm not that strong. Like, I can't do that. So for me, I was like, thank you, my big sister, because she kind of knew. She was like, boys are a distraction, and they are, because the time when you're meant to be studying and reading your book, you're calling him on the phone. Because after uni, after got my at the time my husband, now my boyfriend, I'd be calling him and we were talking till 1 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, I could not have done this at uni. So I definitely do advise, as an auntie, I'm like 28, if you can help it, you know, obviously dating is great and everything, but if you can wait as well, it's also a good thing. Waiting never killed anyone. I always say that. Waiting sometimes it's actually the best thing you can do. So definitely don't rush into it, and if you do, make sure you're going in for the right reasons. Like I said, be honest with yourself, be honest with the other person. Your non-negotiables, make sure you let them know, and don't lose yourself. Be the individual that you are, because at the end of the day, they found you and love you because of who you are. So if you lose that as well, you know, it's not good for both of you. So I hope you like this video. Thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry I rambled on for quite a while. But do like, comment and subscribe below, and let me know if there's any topics that you prefer me to talk about next time, anything I want to go into depth. But just those are my few tips that I kind of learned from the little dating period that I did have. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.